Welcome back to the Pure Fandom podcast. I am one of your hosts, Liz, and I'm joined by my amazing, wonderful co-host, Meg.
I'm in very chilly Wisconsin right now. It's like negative a billion degrees, but I'm wearing 2 long sleeve shirts. It reminds me of Joey when he's like, is it super obvious I'm wearing like 7 sweaters when he has that girlfriend who keeps hitting him? That's how I feel today. But hello, everyone.
I know, same. It's 15 degrees here in Indianapolis. And if you're watching this on video, because are we doing the video? Did we say we were doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do it. I'm in my husband's office, so my lighting's kind of, so if I look very luminescent,
Mm-hmm.
I started doing have you seen those like goi sha, like face things?
What is it?
It's like, I got it as a free gift from this brand that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you like massage your face. It's like
Is it like a jade roller?
yes, but it's like I'll send you a link. It's kind of like it's like a piece of something. Yes, that's it. Yes.
Right next to me.
Yes. So I finally got, because I have that exact jade roller and I got the goi sha thing. The jade roller's nice. And then, so I've been doing.
It's cold.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And so I've been doing like the thing and I put the like oil on and I feel like in this office, I'm very shiny right now.
Glowing. Positively glowing.
Mm-hmm. I'm goi shaing.
In a good way.
Yes.
In a good way.
Thank you. Takes one. But so we were thinking we would recap Wolfpack. There has been 2 episodes, so we'll like briefly go over what's going on and kind of talk about the second episode, what's working, what's not, what we have to look forward to, that kind of stuff. But first, in our last podcast, we gave each other TV assignments to watch. And you did watch White Lotus. You have an update?
I did. I watched both seasons. I loved it. I was a little, so like, they're so different. The seasons were so different. And like, I don't know how mysteriously got 2 different date nights relatively close together, me and my husband. So we watched all of the first season in one day and all of the second season in another day. We were up to like 2 in the morning and then like,
Damn.
that was it. And it was crazy. But I loved the first season because it had like more warm and fuzzies. Like there are characters that you're like, hmm. Second season didn't have any of that. They were all awful.
Yes.
All of them. Like not a single one of them had like I wasn't like rooting for them like the sun and the beach in season 1. So I would highly recommend anyone who hasn't watched them to watch them. You were totally right. I loved it. I loved the mystery of it. It was really good.
Different, right?
Thumbs up. Yes. Not like something I would normally put on. So it's a good recommendation. Did you watch 1899?
Yes, the boat show.
The boat show.
And Jack, my brother, watched it like at the same time or like right before we did. And he had I feel like I always steal his points, but he has really good points. I was trying to explain how I really liked it and I liked the mystery, but I felt like they revealed too much too early. So it kind of took away that suspense of like, is something actually going on? Is this a Shutter Island situation or is there something mystic going on? And like, oh, like he was saying how each episode started with someone like waking up. I feel like that took away some of that mystery that was attractive about the show. But overall, I thought it was awesome. I was very bummed that it was canceled. Like all these, I mean, that could be like a whole other podcast about all these shows that are being canceled right now. And that one, you know, they like invested a ton in, they had like a lot of marketing around. I don't know. Stuff's weird right now.
Like some plagiarism claims with that, but like obviously we can't really speak to it. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, there was.
I don't know if that had a factor in it. Because of course, you know, you go on Twitter and you express joy for anything, and people are like, "You can't love that."
I can't even tweet anymore. I can't even tweet anymore. I'm just like, okay. All right.
You're probably right. I don't know. So yeah, it was sad that it got canceled, but I think you're totally right, and Jack's totally right that I wish they had like saved some of it, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore because
It
we
doesn't
won't
matter.
get a second season. So
And maybe that's why they did it, because they knew they were getting axed.
no more boat show. They were gonna
Gotcha.
capsize.
Oh.
LOL. LOL. Um, okay, so those were our previous watches.
Yes.
In between, I also have another one for you for outside of Wolfpack. If you're
Okay.
looking for a new show and you haven't watched it yet, I actually really, really liked Ginny and Georgia on Netflix. The second season just came out.
Okay.
Um, so everyone was always comparing it to Gilmore Girls, so I was always like, "Oh no, I have Gilmore Girls. I don't really need it."
I don't need this.
There's
Right.
just like a couple comparisons that you can make, but like once you
Okay.
actually watch it, you're like, "Oh, no, like there's like murder, mystery. There's like a whole thing." And like the way that they do the storytelling, which I love, and I like it too, where they give you like this is what's happening, but then they
Mhm.
go back a couple episodes later and they're like, "Here's what was really happening." I love that. Where it's
Oh,
like the
okay.
same shots, but you're going from different angles. And I think that's really cool.
I've been
So it's more in
seeing
the
this.
second season.
Okay. I've been
So I
seeing this
highly
promoted
recommend
a
it. You'll like
ton.
it.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out, because I was kind of like, do I watch this? Do I not watch this? And then
You watch this.
I remember, wasn't there like controversy around a line used with Taylor Swift or something? Was that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I think I was in season one. So she
Okay.
says something like, it's like a throwaway line the 15-year-old teenager says that more boyfriends than Taylor Swift or something.
That's it.
So like,
Okay.
and like then she tweeted, which I don't agree with, like sending your millions and millions, and I'm total Swiftie, like an entire wall of her vinyls downstairs.
Uh-huh.
That's obviously another podcast. Um, I just didn't agree with that, like going after the writer, because maybe it was more commentary on her not really understanding the situation, like the character. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I felt like that was a weird choice for Taylor Swift to be like, rar. And then everyone was mean to that writer, and like, I just didn't like
Yeah.
that. But the show's really good. It's a really
Okay.
good show. Although, I don't know, there was like a lot of teen stuff. Like, having two daughters. We each have two daughters. You have a son too, but um, mine are closer to the teen years. Like, I have one in high school now. So, like, I'm watching it and I'm going, because it's
Is
like,
that what
oh
it's
no.
like? Oh no.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that part was a
mean,
little hard for me because I was like, oh no, 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 no. Because I have a 15-year-old and that's what they
yeah.
are when the show starts and they're doing not like euphoria level craziness, but I was like, oh my, yeah. But
I
that's
mean,
the only word of caution if you're watching it and you have
yeah.
teenagers. There's enough for like you could watch it as a teenager and really enjoy those storylines, and there's enough like the adults. It's not like where it's a total teen show where you're like, oh my God, because they're
Like,
so
I can't.
teenagers.
Right.
Yeah, because the teenager stuff is like some of it's really heavy. So it's like good like mental health stuff going on like that I think
Okay.
applies to any age. So I think you'd
Okay.
like it.
All right. We'll give it a shot.
Speaking of mental health, should we dive into our wolf pack talk? Because I know that you probably will mention this in your notes too. I thought this show did mental health really well, which surprised me because I was like, coming hot off that Teen Wolf movie. My bar was low, not gonna lie. But I was like, oh, okay, like we're doing some serious stuff and we're doing it well over here at Wolf. So I was like, okay. And I know you didn't watch the Teen Wolf movie yet. So before we
No,
get
not
into the
yet.
episodes of Wolfpack, I do want to just like point out some similarities to you because you wouldn't obviously having not seen the movie yet. So in Wolfpack, they have like wildfires happening and
Hmm.
werewolves. Like that's
Yes.
the thing.
Yes.
The Teen Wolf movie also has arson and
Okay.
wildfires and werewolves. And so like it was really confusing when I started the show. I was like, but we know who started those fires. Like, are they supposed to be the same fires? And like, so that was a little jarring, like trying to decide, like, am I supposed to be connecting these? Like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
haven't
Okay.
really ruled it out. I mean, it's all in California. Werewolves are a thing. The eye color seems to be similar. Like
Well, so I
you
just
know?
read an article before this where Jeff Davis says these are not the same and gives examples of how he made them different. And
Yeah.
so I'm
That's
watching
so
the
weird.
show and he's like, the eyes are yellow, but they're a little bit wider. But then I bought the first Wolfpack book, or we got it from the library to rent or to read
Mhm.
to see if this was so in the book. And I'm like, I mean, this thing is like, you could read it in an hour. Okay. And
Mhm.
it's like the 4 werewolves are siblings.
Yes. So
And
that's a little different than the
that's
show.
different. And Garrett finds them in the woods still, they're babies, whatever. But then her name's Tori, it's not Luna, it's something else in the book. She
Mhm.
gets kidnapped and taken by this like TV guy who is trying to make money off of exposing werewolves, and that's like the thing
Okay.
in the first book.
Gotcha. So we're to believe that this werewolf show in California with wildfires is not connected,
At all.
despite being written by the same dude,
Correct.
to just like slightly overhear vampire or not vampires,
Correct.
werewolves with
Correct.
wildfires. Okay,
Same
good.
cinematography, same vibes, but nothing to do with it. And I actually have that in okay, so maybe this is a good time to dive into what's working about the show. So
Do it.
I think I like Jeff Davis's whole vibe and his like the way he shoots, the whatever the
Mm-hmm.
filter thing is they put on the camera. I love it.
Fear
That's
darkness.
yeah, I
I was
know.
like, what?
I had to shut blinds. So I was
Me too.
like, oh, because I was watching during the day. But so I mean I do like that. I think the wardrobe is great. Um I like that each kid has like their own shit so that like the
Mm-hmm.
trauma is like human and not just that they're transitioning to a werewolf or are a werewolf or whatever. I think that's nice. It kind of reminded me of like how I think this show does it a lot better. Interview with a Vampire did the AMC adaptation. Did you watch that?
No, not yet. That's like next on my
Um
list.
I would at least watch I think the first episode like standalone is great. Like you don't even if you didn't want to watch the rest for whatever reason, but it really focused on like how vampirism and Lestat gave Louis like permission to be himself and really diving more into like the homoerotica that's always like alluded in not alluded but she talks about it a little bit more. It's been years since I read Anne Rice that series, but
Mm-hmm.
it does a really good job of clearly showing how that gives him permission to be a black man during that time period, to be gay and enjoy that part of his life. Um, and I was like, oh, okay, I like that. And that's not just I'm becoming a vampire. What's going on with like my blah, blah, you know? And I think that's what this is kind of leaning towards here. But I was a little unsure of, and maybe this is because I admittedly like glossed over the first episode because we thought this was airing. I had to like catch up quickly so we could record.
Mm-hmm.
But like, does Blake have something going on like medically as well?
No. Are you talking about when they talk about her skin?
Yeah.
So she had like acne, like maybe like cystic acne in the very first part. So they
Oh,
talk about that and like her little brother who has autism.
okay.
He points that out immediately, like skin is different and like
Yes, in the second
he's
episode.
very observant of what's going on with her. But not it's not like she doesn't have anything else wrong with her. She just
Okay.
has like caring for her brother who has autism, her father who's like doesn't seem like the best dad and has made a
Right.
lot of mistakes.
Okay.
So it's like more of that stuff. Like she's
Right.
got home stuff, but it's her skin has cleared up is the thing. Which I was like so excited. I thought they would like actually have a teenager look like a teenager on the show, and I was like, that is so cool. They immediately make it like, oh, you look so much better without your acne. Like
I
I just don't want people
know.
watching that to think that. Like you are just as beautiful
Yes.
with or without your acne. Please don't make a dog bite you. It will not cure anything.
No. And you
Yes.
don't need to be cured. You're fine.
Right. You don't need to be cured. You don't need to be changed to be like beautiful. Like
Mhm.
you're good. I was kind of bummed that they didn't just let her have that and still be beautiful and powerful and strong and awesome and a main character. They had to be like, now you're pretty. Like, ugh, that's
I
just
know.
like so icky. I didn't like that part.
I thought we were past that.
Right? Like growth, people
Yeah.
grow. But yeah,
It's giving
that's not
early 2000s.
right. Like her dad was like, she was always beautiful, and that was like the only thing. But like, did they have to give that line to the scummiest character on the show? Oh, he gets it. Cool. So that was kind of annoying. But okay, continue
Okay.
with what works. We'll put that in the what didn't quite work
That's what didn't
category.
work. Oh, I liked I'm looking at my notes here. I really liked the like shock scenes, like when that horse came in through that door
That
at
awesome CGI
Luna.
horse. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm here for that. Okay.
That like, what is that sound where it's like, "Meow," and they
Yes.
kept doing it, and I jumped every single time. My poor
Uh-huh.
cat who was sitting with me, he was like, "What the F are you doing?" He was not a fan. But yeah, I jumped
Mm-hmm.
every time. It was definitely more of a jump scare
Yeah.
episodes than I thought it was
Yes.
gonna be.
Yes. So I liked that. And then now I'm at my what's not working list. So do you have anything to add to the what's working?
Of like what's working.
Uh-huh.
Um, yes, to add to it. So I actually really liked the main character. So Everett, I thought he was really, really cool. Like very clearly handling like his mental health issues. Like he's not trying to hide them. He's not embarrassed of them. He talks about them. Like I love that part of the show. I think that's really great. Um, I really, really like how Blake and Everett are like weirdly linked, but you don't really know how yet. Like
Mm-hmm.
clearly they're going to be part of like a pack together or something, but that like I don't know, and like they didn't even address it. Like she moved the piece of furniture by the door when she didn't feel safe, and he woke up and his furniture was by the door. So like there's like some sort of weird like thing with them, like connection, and like she could
Mm-hmm.
see him in the mirror and he almost like looked at her, and then they were laying in the bed and like they slept forever. Like they were like laying together. So I just thought that was really interesting, and I'm very curious because obviously like they're pushing them together. But
Yes.
like their weird link thing, I think is really cool. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to see more of that. So that is
Okay.
my what works.
Yes.
And then I guess like another like works thing is the mystery of like the arson. Like I just hope that they don't solve that too soon where then it's okay, wait, that was actually interesting, like to keep building that mystery. Um and like you said, just like it's pretty. Like CGI scary animals aside, because oh my
It's very
God,
pretty.
the rest of it, like the fire, all of that, like was really well done. And
Mm-hmm.
that poor, is it Garrett, the dad? His entire
Yes.
like arc is just running through the woods, like dying in this fire. And I was like, he's doing that so well.
I know.
Like streaming tears and like, "Whoa," and then all the pretty teens are like, we're so pretty. And he's like,
We're-
"Bleh," in the woods.
we don't have
So I thought that was good.
acne.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my works.
Okay. Um, what is not working is that, and I know she's an executive producer, but they are making this seem like this is SMG's show. And in episode 2, it took 23 minutes for her to even show up. And then she
I
was
love
just
that you timed it.
sprinkled. Oh, I timed it. And then every time she enters, it's just her walking around a car being like, saying, she reminded me, it was like a Bethany Frankel line, or something. It was like a weird metaphor that was like, a hole's a hole in a wall, isn't it, kid? Looks like we're bringing you in. What the fuck? Like, huh?
It's so funny you say that because every time she would appear, it reminded me of like when he'd take his glasses off, like the CSI shows, and he'd be like blah, and he'd say something like weird and like quippy, and then
Yes.
it'd like cut to like the screen real quick, like with the title card. It was just always like she was just like entering and being like, "Hey, what's
Like,
up?"
like the
Like it was
teen.
always setting up for something, you know?
Yeah, like what? Like in Teen Wolf, the classic.
Hmm.
She was at the end. Like that was that was the jingle that was
Like
playing every
Creepy
time.
Shrimp.
Yeah. So, meh.
Oh wait, can I tell you the funniest thing about one of her lines in like the
Yeah,
commercials? Because I'm not used to commercials like Who Is these days.
I
And
know.
on Paramount Plus they play some. It was when she was listing all of the other friends to Everett, and like she's like, what can you tell me about them? And then it cuts to the commercial and it's the nerds. And I went, nerds. And I was like, I thought that was the funniest thing. It was so not intentional. And I was like, well done, whoever did this commercial
There you
placement.
go.
It was just great. But yeah, continue.
Um, so I did see, I think it was TV Line that interviewed with her, and I guess SMG said um that her character arc is like simmer right now, like it's slow burning, and that Buffy fans will get the quote, the me they came to see towards the end of the season. It'll be worth the wait. I'm like,
Is she like
okay.
biting these teenagers? Is it her? Is it you?
That's what I figured. I'm like, is she the one either like on the phone, or is she the werewolf like hunting people and she's, like plotting or hiding in plain sight as like the arson investigator?
It definitely does seem like there's two. Like there's someone who's like who
Calling.
bit these kids to make them like this force to fight the bad person. Because like why would
Mm,
they bite them and then chase them and kill them? Like no, that doesn't make any sense. So there's
no.
definitely like two, and it's almost like whoever's biting them, Sarah
Yes.
Michelle Gellar. Um, and
Sarah
what's her
Michelle
name? Like Crystal, Christy, whatever. She's gonna be Sarah.
Sarah.
Whoever's biting them is doing it to like form a pack to fight the big one that we see.
Yes.
Because otherwise it's like, what, why are you doing that? Why are you biting them? And then like why? Unless
Right.
they're biting them and taking them, but it seems like they're biting them and killing them.
Well, and then there's the yeah, I think there's two. There's someone
Hmm.
that bit them and is also likely the same person that's calling
Hmm.
on the phone with ghost face filter, and then
Hmm.
there's the one that attacked Connor at the end. So then that
Poor
poses some other
Connor.
questions, I feel like. Well, first, do you want to talk more about what's not working? Then we could maybe do theories.
Okay.
Um, I just feel like it's a lot of like world building right now, and I don't know that I need all of that. But
Right.
I'm also not, they're not really building the world either. I'm like, I'm not really getting a lot of rules as to what's going on with the pack. We have a couple like things we can talk about that can influence what we think is going to happen. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like a slow start. And yeah, I just feel like I'm reading one of those fantasy novels where it's like 200 pages of like, whoa. And then it gets like amazing and you're into it. But I hope
Yeah.
that that happens like really soon. So,
Like in the first 5 minutes of episode 3, they're just
mhm.
like,
Yeah.
do you know what I did notice? Like to your point about world building, doesn't it seem like the full moon like makes them all randy, horny if you're American?
Oh,
But like
yeah.
he was like having this like he was like working out and then he was like, this is my butt cheek in the mirror.
Uh,
Woo!
uh, uh.
And yeah, and then like Everett was gonna kiss Blake and then there was a cloud and he's like, JK, I'm awkward. And like, I don't know, it just seems like the full moon is impacting them in
It's
that
making
way,
him horny.
which is different.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They're like
To make
ready to
little wolf pups, apparently.
animalistic. They're animalistic. To
That
breed.
is true.
To
Yeah.
breed.
Maybe not so much like Harlan, but the impulse is there. The,
Impulse is there. And his
yes.
character is very different so far from the Harlan in the book.
Hmm.
And maybe I'm just not like there yet, but he seems like whatever the kid guy's name in the book that is like the alpha, and Harlan's like the runt in the book.
Okay, so he's definitely, I wouldn't consider him runtish, you know?
No, not after seeing that ass.
Right?
Mm-mm.
And like, side note, because you haven't watched the Teen Wolf movie, Jeff Davis is all about the butts this year because
Bringing the butts.
one, two, three, there's three of butt cheeks in the Teen Wolf movie.
Good. I'll
Every
watch it.
single cheek made me go, what is happening? Why? But yeah, there's
I mean,
butts.
werewolves are
Like,
naked a lot, right? That makes sense.
hmm
Yeah.
there's a lot of cheeks. It's very butt cheeky.
Well, I bet he couldn't do a lot of the butt cheeks, 7,
He
8 years.
wanted to do the butt cheeks.
And he's like, I'm getting my cheeks in. I didn't get a chance to
hmm
do that. And now I can show more cheek. So
Yeah. I like that they made Harlan like how he is in the show, that he's not like docile. It's
yeah.
kind of nice.
hmm
But yeah, what else is working for you? Was that
Those are all my what's working, what's not. Um, I do have questions. Do you have any like, nah,
I have?
this is going for me, this isn't going for me, or do you want to get to like our predictions and stuff?
Yes. So the only thing that I like, I don't know, it's not like a wish for them to do differently, but like I just the acne thing, like the
Mhm.
letting teenagers look like teenagers, like Luna is gorgeous, but like she's wearing this like white sweater in the ER during wildfire and there's like soot in the air. Like I feel like let them look a little gross, let them be a little dirty.
Right.
It works for the vampires on other shows because they're supposed like that is like how they get their victims. But like I just feel like werewolves are supposed to be a little more rough and tumble, you know? Like
Mm.
they're werewolves. They should be a little mucky and she's just so like perfect all the time every time we saw her. So, yeah, that's my only thing. I just wish they would like scuff them up a little bit. They don't need to look so polished all the time. Like we still think that they're all beautiful.
Right.
I just want it to be a little more realistic. And I say that about a vampire, werewolf, everything. Like every time we watch a vampire show, I say the same stuff. I'm like, would they really do that? Like
I know.
they're drinking blood. I don't know why I always go there, but
I
yeah, with the werewolves,
know.
I just wish they'd be a little more realistic looking. Is my only thing.
As in terms of like what we're thinking of, like classic werewolf, you know, but I could see how they're not wanting to put Luna in like that trope of the werewolf, female werewolf is like, you know, I'm tough and blah, blah, blah.
hmm I just think
Eh,
like if your dad's missing in a wildfire, you're not going to take the time to put like beautiful beach waves in your hair or your eyeliner.
that's it,
You
right
know,
there. Right.
just
And
like let her be messy right now.
they always like, I feel like the werewolf garb is always like a little, like vampire garb is, and this is going to age me, but the millennials will know. Vampire garb is like very wet seal. It's
hmm
like Charlotte Russe, you know. Back in the day, I don't even know what that would be now. I don't know these.
Like Forever 21, maybe like
Yeah,
H&M,
yeah,
sort of.
H&M or like Express. I don't know if that's still a thing, but
I was gonna say I don't think that one's there either.
that's aging me
It's
even
okay.
more.
Google it.
Google it, people, and you'll see. Google all the ads. And then the werewolves are always like American Eagle.
hmm Like
You know,
Americana.
uh-huh. And so that's what they're putting these kids in. Except for I feel like Harlan's a little more chic. Like if I could see him maybe being like a vampire vibe, but then you got Luna, who they're like, oh, put one of those earthy shawls on her. Like she's in like a caftan. Like this could be our pack, you know? And I'm like, oh my,
Right? Like,
like,
and realistically, they'd be wearing like 3-day dirty
yeah,
zip up hooded sweatshirts and like,
what I'm
yes,
wearing
I
right
always think
now,
yeah, and
you
you're
know?
rocking it. You could definitely like start a wolf pack right now, and I would
Mhm.
follow.
Look at my
I always
hair.
feel like the vampires are always in like polyester blends and like they need to dry clean their clothes. And then
Mhm.
like werewolves are in like cotton and like
Yeah,
wool, and they could just probably lay it flat to, and that would be fine. Like
yeah.
those are the
Lay flat to
distinctions.
dry. Uh-huh. A lot of
Yes,
dry cleaning for a
absolutely.
vampire.
hmm
Mhm.
Gotta get that blood out too. That
Well,
makes
they don't,
sense.
right. And they don't sleep. And so they have a lot of time to like separate clothes for
Exactly.
different types of washings. Okay. So questions.
Yes.
Um, what is chasing Connor? What bit him? Why wasn't he healing? Who called him on the phone? I feel like the answers to all those questions could be different. Like,
Do you think there's like an elder pack? Like
for
they aren't strong
sure.
enough to fight anymore, so they're like getting these people and they're using like the cloak of the fire to not raise suspicions. Like I feel like I don't know. If I
An
was bitten
elder
by
pack, the
something,
millennial pack who,
they
shopped at
need
all the
some Gen
shops
Zs.
we just named. They're
Oh
like,
my
"We're
God,
not doing
how
this
fun of
shit
a
anymore."
show. That would be so fun. They're like, actually, we're just gonna stay in. Can you like,
Mhm.
can you handle that?
Yeah.
That would be so fun of a show, like a generational divide between the
Yeah.
werewolf packs because the older ones, they're like, oh, we have to do our taxes and like we just do not
Oh.
have time. We are so busy with work. I have so much PTO, but I'm not going to use it to fight werewolves. So
No.
like, and
The
then the Gen
elder
Z is
millennials.
like, what?
There's an elder pack for sure. And
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, maybe they bit some of those kids on the bus to like get some new blood in because whoever's
Hmm.
just attacked Connor um is like the big bad. I don't know. But there was no
Hmm.
body. So like
Right? It was just like he's naked somewhere, maybe
I don't
like
know.
shards of clothes. So I have a theory. Can I tell you my theory?
Yeah.
So they keep talking about their dad, their dad, their dad. If Sarah Michelle Gellar's character is their mom,
Oh, and she's like
and she's
looking
a
for her babies.
well, like maybe she knows exactly where they are. She's watching them, but she can't like get close to them because that'll endanger them. So she's like making a pact to fight with them to help protect them.
Oh, dang.
That's my theory. Because I was
Okay.
like, you're both very like blonde with like your waves. I feel like that could work.
But then who's the
So that
dad?
was my theory. That big scary guy. You know, we all have that
Oh,
face, Sarah Michelle Gellar. We get it. No judgment, girl. But
the big
whoever that
scare.
is,
But I know, but we probably haven't seen him out of werewolf form yet.
yes, he's definitely got a human form. We just don't know what it is.
Right.
And I don't want to think that it's the mean cop that's like with them
No, I don't think that is either.
because he's annoying. Can we just
Mm.
like side note something weird? I
What?
don't know if it means anything. What is up with Everett's mom? Like,
Yeah,
what?
she's giving
It's
like
weird.
who in who in Teen Wolf whose mom like sucked like that. Didn't somebody?
Allison.
Yes.
She was crazy. Like she
Um
was super, super strict and like she like slapped her, I think, a couple
mhm.
times, but just like overall not warm and motherly at all. Super weird vibes from her.
Okay.
And then yeah, it's like the kind of the same thing happening with Everett. It's like if you're worried about your kid, I don't know, just from like a mother standpoint, like I would be
Right.
mad, but like to just like only be mad. It was weird that she's just like only mad. She got to the hospital. She's
Yeah.
like mad at him for leaving the highway and walking to the hospital by himself, not concerned.
Right,
And
at
then he
all.
got home and she slaps him. And I was like, okay, what? Like,
Or maybe
it just
she's the
didn't
werewolf.
really,
Maybe she's a werewolf.
or she's part of the secret order that knows about the werewolves and they're setting fires to flush them out of the town.
And their
Someone
last name
hired me
is
to write this
Archer.
nonsense.
I don't
The
know.
Silvers.
The Silvers.
And when
Okay.
I say nonsense, I don't mean this show because I think this show has a lot of potential. I mean like
Mhm.
nonsense, the stupid theories that I spat out that never ever happened. So I'll write them down for you and you can use them in someone.
Okay.
You should use them in a show.
Okay.
Write my show, Liz, is what I'm
I
trying to
got
tell
it.
you.
I got you,
Thank you.
girl.
Thank you. Because I do think this show, despite having some stuff that we're like, it's only two episodes in, there's a lot more that I'm like intrigued by than I'm
Hmm.
like, ugh, you know, because there's always a little bit of a growing pain with any show that we start.
Hmm.
So, especially
Exactly.
fantasy shows that have to do a lot of like info dumping on us. It's always a little like, okay.
I
But
always tell
this,
people I'm like, give it 5. But I'm like,
yeah.
I know people don't have that kind of time. But I mean, it's
Hmm.
SMG. I'm going to keep watching out of loyalty to
Yes.
her.
Like, and her popping up every 5 seconds in like a smoky street in front of a car, I'm there for it. I don't care what she's saying. I'll be there. You're going to be
Right.
there in a dark shadow? I'm there too. Like, I'm with
We'll show
you.
up with the
Ride or
quippy
die.
one-liner.
Hmm.
Oh,
I love it.
SMG. I just hope this isn't like The Ringer, where it was like such a big promo for her return and it was like, ugh.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I mean, we'll
I do
see.
like the Garrett. He also, like, neither of them look like they have aged in years. So maybe that'll be the twist. Like, actually, these grown-ups are vampires.
Right. Oh,
I doubt that they're gonna have vampires in this show, though. I feel like
I
she would not be like down for vampires.
I
She's
mean, who
trying to
knows?
unvampire.
Who knows? She might be down. Like it's been a minute since, she's had any sort of supernatural whatever. I mean, who cares? Bring vampires back. Make Buffy a
Right?
vampire.
She can't be a vampire. She's Buffy. Oh my God. Side note. I know
What?
we're not supposed to talk about Buffy because we're trying to distance her as she is trying to distance herself.
She
But,
is though. She talks about it in every interview.
well, you know what I mean? Like she's not down for like a reboot or something like that. Like, this is
Right.
me saying I want her to be a part of that. So that's why. So
Well,
she,
but that's Joss Whedon and he's
yes.
ain't no way that's happening. No.
No, it needs to be different people. But there's two books out. The second one just came out by Kendara Blake, and the first one is In Every Generation. And I know I mentioned this on our last chat.
Yes.
So I finished that one, and the new one came out, but it's like a new generation of Slayers. Like, I really want to be a show, but she's not really in it. Buffy's not really in it,
Okay.
but it's like she's mentioned a lot.
Yeah.
She could, be in flashbacks. Basically, I want her to make that also. I know she's busy popping out of dark corners of this show to say things, but I want her to do that too. Like, I
Right.
want her to do that adaptation because it's really good and it's all like younger people, and
It could
you
be
have to read it. I don't
fresh.
want to spoil it. It would be
Okay.
really fresh and it's good. And Spike can still be in it. They like figured out how to do that. I think I told you that. Like, they
Uh-huh.
have an aging spell on him. So like he can look
Yes.
like how he looks, how the actor looks now. So it's like, you thought of
Okay.
everything, Kendara Blake. Thank you.
You
I
thought of
appreciate you.
everything.
You did it. Doing it for the Buffy girlies. So, but yes,
Okay.
I will keep watching this show. I'm certain you will too, because there's really not much she can do that I would be like,
I know.
like,
I'm just happy to see her on screen again. And we'll
mhm.
keep going. We'll recap it. We got our theories now.
Yes.
And it's Thursday nights, not Friday nights. We
I
thought
think it
there
might
was
have premiered on Friday. I think that's what threw us off.
okay.
Or like at midnight when we're definitely sleeping because we're definitely
Yeah.
in the elder pack.
Mhm.
We're in the we're asleep by then crowd. Like
Uh-huh.
Taylor
Yeah.
Midnights, we'll see you in the morning kind of crowd.
Yeah. I will not meet you at
Yeah.
midnight. I will
I
be
will
in my
meet
bed
you at
at
about like
midnight.
7 a.m. when I'm done getting ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a fun season, and I hope they at least like they have the order for the full season. I have like commitment issues with shows now because I'm always worried
I
they're just gonna be like
know.
and scene.
I
So,
mean, this is geez, okay, everything's getting canceled.
mm-hmm.
I can't get attached to anything anymore. I'm not even watching anything on the CW. Nothing.
You can't. They're like gutting that poor. Oh,
I know. I'm like,
it's
okay.
crazy.
And then they canceled Vampire Academy.
I saw that. That's
Yeah.
wild to me because I thought that was a really big deal.
And I mean, I thought it got like great reviews and
It
viewership
was
and
well
stuff.
received. Yeah.
Yeah. They canceled that. One of Us is Lying. Um, yeah, there's a lot of like YA stuff that was just
Is it us?
at the
Because I
boot.
believe we talked about two of those shows on our last podcast, 1899 and One of Us is Lying.
I know.
Are we doing this?
No, we're not doing this because we're talking about it.
We're trying to, yeah,
We're
keep
trying.
going.
I
Okay.
know. Bummer.
So
But
yeah,
oh,
we'll
and
watch next
Uncoupled.
week and Uncoupled.
Uncoupled on Netflix with Neil
Oh, on
Patrick
Netflix.
Harris.
Yes.
I blew through that in like a night. And I was like, this is so good. No, canceled.
And I think I suggested to you to watch Reboot on Hulu, like offline. I don't think we did it on the
Oh
podcast.
yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
was so good. Canceled.
Canceled.
Canceled. So I guess just
Bummer.
stick with us, kids. We'll tell you what to watch for at least one season.
I know. Well, geez. I mean, we're trying here. Well, we'll recap
Yeah.
Wolfpack. We'll like tag them and stuff too, so we can get this like let them know people are watching.
Yeah.
Um, we'll do that, and yeah, catch us back next week. We'll come back. We'll come back with some weekly recaps, and hopefully our theories come to fruition. SMG is something though. There's a secret. There's a secret there.
Yes. She's not just like super hot arson lady. Like
No.
she's definitely involved. So I'm excited
Hmm.
to see what her deal is. Her true deal. Hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah. Bye.